Like to welcome everybody to another edition of the Major Music Lounge podcast, joined by a good friend of mine, Faaathom. What's good, my brother?
You doing good, Dee Dot? How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing pretty good. Just enjoying this Sunday, man, and definitely. I know it's been a minute since we talked, and it's good to catch up with you, man. And you
Absolutely.
know, um, I had Mikey on the show recently as well, and just like I kind of told him, I mean, we know each other from the job and work together, a couple of months, but we can't really have these conversations, these long conversations on a
Not
job. So,
not in depth.
yeah, it's definitely good to have you, man, because yeah, I've been following you ever since I discovered you, a couple of months ago. And I saw now to kind of, I guess, go into some of what you've been doing. You've been a busy man. You shot a music video this past weekend.
This was a super busy setup. We built the actual set for it. I'm not going to give away too much on the concept because I want it to be like a cool little surprise for when it drops. But we wanted a lot of it to be shot through like this window view, so we had to actually take wood, cut it, shape it, frame. Like, it was really cool to actually go that far into like the details of a set. Because it gave me more of an appreciation for other videos that I've seen that have been phenomenal, and also like gave me an understanding of what makes them phenomenal. Like you see people like going to like the nitty gritty, but also it kind of tricks the camera. Like they're almost never where they really are presenting it to be. I feel like now that I've been watching them videos more, like oh, I feel like this is just something y'all built and rigged up and made look cool and lighted it right, and after time that's the beauty of it, and I have a stronger appreciation for that now.
Yeah, man. And just having videos all together, and I know you kind of spoke to just doing different things, building concepts, because a lot of times people just shoot videos with no ideas behind, the video
Mm-hmm.
that they want to shoot. They just shoot to shoot. So I mean, whenever you're writing the song for the video that you're shooting, do you kind of have that vision as you're writing along, or do you maybe record the song and then after the fact you're like, maybe I want to do this or maybe I want to do that?
It really depends on the song because some songs like I'll write bars and not even really fully know what I meant by it until I'm sitting back listening to it again and again, kind of like, oh, that's a double entendre that I wrote that almost like went over my head. I must have intended it because it fits, but like I didn't really consciously catch it the first time.
Yeah.
And then there's some songs when I'm writing and I already got the visual in my head, like with like how I want everything to set up. Like there's a song I got with one of my friends back in Pittsburgh, Zach, Z dot A dot C dot H. That's my boy. He's got great music coming out soon. But um we have the song and we're kind of trading bars. And I want to do a video where we just are kind of trading, like we're popping into the space, popping out, like something like that, just to
Yeah.
like that song, that one, that idea came to me like literally in the studio because it like that just makes sense. But most times I feel like I'm just trying shit out and then it just comes together later. The vision comes together on the back end.
Where, yeah, I've had a couple of videos like that where I maybe go to a studio or like I'm talking about like a video studio, or I might go to, a place where we uh we kind of have the concept already laid for the scene. And there's something else, I guess, in that area or another scene in that area that I never really think about based off a lyric that's in the song.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of like, okay, man, that's kind of like almost kind of like a coincidence in a way, that that it came across because you said it in the rap and now you actually got it in the video. So
Yeah.
it sometimes happen. Even like I was noticing, I did an animated video about maybe 3 years ago, and had this this guy. He does like anime music videos,
Oh, that's
and
hard.
he I guess I told him because I trusted his judgment, and
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted something with cars in it. And then there's a part in that song where I talk about driving in my own lane, and I never really, I guess the whole song kind of revolves around that, and just he just had the perfect concept for the video because he had the cars in the video, and then
Mm-hmm.
there was some other stuff in it, but I felt like it tied into the song, and there were some things that I never was really even thinking about, that happened in the video. So I
It
feel
just
you
kind
on
of
that, man.
brought it
Yeah,
together.
yeah, man. For our listeners out there, tell us a little bit about who is Fathom. How long have you been an artist? I know you said you're from Pittsburgh. Uh, you still in Dallas now, or you kind of just moving around?
No, I'm still in Dallas. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I have just crossed that threshold of I've been an artist for the majority of my life at this point now. Because I started making music when I was 12, and now I'm 25 now. I'm about to turn 26, so I'm even getting a little bit further on that side of the fence, and that's a real cool feeling. And I'm starting to realize, like, I'm starting to understand that, like, a lot of people approach it and kind of do microwave with the music, and I realize you can't do that if your heart's in it. You won't even allow yourself to do so. So a lot of times I've slowed myself down because I realize like this ain't gonna go right if I do it this way. So I got to be right, and I've had to like refocus on stuff like that. So Fathom is someone who's working to get it right. Like the reason I even chose the name Fathom is because I wanted to make deeper music that is still easy to understand. Like there's a lot of depth here, there's a lot of content here, but it's not too much. It's not
Mhm.
you can still it's spoon feed. Like you're still able to understand, you're still able to enjoy it, but it's not what you're used to. It's not like so simple, so overt. There's more to it. That's how I've always wanted to make music. I finally feel like I've hit a point where I can kind of capture that the essence of what my style is pretty accurately.
Yeah, I mean, there was something you said in that as far as like just having a meaning. You can't microwave music. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
a lot these days. In fact, I was watching the All the Smoke podcast, and DJ Quick was on there,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about, him still in his 50s creating music, talking about not creating music without feeling to it. And I feel like a lot of times, especially now these days, there must be a perfect balance, because one of the things I like about yourself that I've observed is you drop a lot of singles.
Mm-hmm.
You drop a lot of singles, and I'm kind of exploring that wave, I guess you could say, because I'm doing something a little bit different this year in terms of like
Mm-hmm.
I'm dropping albums, but I'm also dropping like instrumental projects in between like my albums as an artist.
Oh
And
yeah, and then you could get almost like sell beats that way too, probably.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've done that kind of that way, and it's just something to kind of keep, I guess, people that follow a lot of my work engaged, and because I noticed looking at some of those stats on the artist apps for like Apple Music and Spotify
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of people are listening to the beat tapes, in between those projects. So I feel
Really?
like I'm kind of, yeah, it's kind of weird because like I was looking there's I don't know who it is in Canada, but somebody in Canada like my shit, man. And I just see him always on there with some plays out that way. And even California,
That's
and
tight.
yeah, I got a couple of people in Detroit as well. And I'm just noticing now that I've started doing that because I wanted to take a different approach, and I guess I'm gonna even put out like some singles this year
Mm-hmm.
in between as well. But I like that only because, kind of like I said, you keep everybody that follows you engaged with what you're doing. And then I notice even like your music videos as well. Like you may post little clips here and there of,
Mm-hmm.
some of your videos. And I think it's all content, there's a lot that goes into it, not only the engagement from an artist, and you make beats too, but also as a content creator. And I think that, you don't necessarily want to be microwavable in the sense that you just putting out music to put out music, but at the same time, you don't want to not put out music and go forgotten because it's a different game in 2023. Like I
The
know
way I'm
some cat,
looking at it,
yeah,
the way I'm looking at it now is like I'm thinking each single, if I treat each single like an album and put that kind of love and attention to detail to it, but still treat it, don't put it on a singles timeline, it's still gonna go out and be high quality and still get grab attention. So like that, I've been right now. I've been on like a almost like a pause, just building up my reservoir of like high quality content because like that means like I can just let the clip go and at any time, any like
yeah,
it's I've got it on my side now. Like got a couple of things coming.
yeah, man. You got to. Uh, it's like album, single, um, and then maybe even doing a show here and there in between just to stay relevant. And then I mean, you're out here. You could of course go back to Pittsburgh. Then I know you probably got connects in other places as well. But
Mm-hmm.
that's that's one of the ways that you're constantly staying relevant in a game by always putting out content. Content is very strong, man. I mean, in 2023.
I don't think there's anything stronger than that, man. That's even now. I got to put more. I need to put more of just regular content out, just to have people seeing me on a regular basis, even if it's not something major. It's got to still pertain to the music and be inviting. I got to figure out a way to do that. That's not like I said, microwave, but still quality and quick.
Yeah. Yeah, just keep on the same path, man, because what you're doing right now, I like the way you move.
I appreciate you,
With
brother. Thank you.
Oh yeah, man. I was listening because I told you, and I got it right here. Yeah, Double or Nothing, Pink Water, Talking to Myself. I had all of those joints there, and then I saw you release something too recently, Mojo Jojo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tell
that's
us
the
a little
first
bit
song
about.
with my new producer, Pip.
Okay, okay. Out of Dallas too, or he
Mm-hmm.
elsewhere?
Out
Okay.
of Dallas, yeah.
And you work with Lone Star a little bit too, huh?
We work with Lone Star and Hit My Phone, yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah, man. Shout out to Lone Star. I actually
Incredible dude.
I haven't seen him recently, like really in a while. I met him years ago, man. I'll probably say about 2015, 2016 at a producer conference. And then went again the next couple of years. Like I think I went 3 years straight and I saw him there every year. And then I know
Mm-hmm.
he did a lot of work like with S1 and on
Eminem.
Eminem, yeah,
Yeah.
project. And shout out, Lone Star, man. If you watching this, Lone Star, man, we got to get you on here, talk some
You're a
music
good dude, Lone
production as
Star.
well, man. How did that relationship like start up? Did you find him like online or did you used to come out here previously?
So my dad and we pretty much came together and said we're gonna put together a label. We're gonna make it a family business type thing. So that's what we're focused on right now. And then we started hunting for producers in the area. We came across Lone Star. We started working with Lone Star. We made that joint. Then we just kind of went from there.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
met
man.
Pip. We met Healthy. We met Rob from the studio Healthy Habits, and we've just been working ever since.
Okay. Yeah, man. Definitely Lone Star's cool people, man.
Super.
Definitely gotta get him out on here sometime soon, man.
Yeah, man.
And
Shout out Pip and Rob too, man. I can't like the thing is like Mojo Jojo is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm real excited to drop more.
yeah, yeah. Are you
I'm cook.
working towards an album or you just kind of sticking with the plan of single?
Um, I I grew up like in the album era, like that's like what I look to as like the pinnacle of hip hop, like concept albums. Like I love that, and I miss that. I want music to get back closer to that. It's hard to see how that can happen with like the way everything kind of has to be. Like at least your singles kind of be has to be TikTok focused in a way,
Yeah,
and then how many people listen to albums anymore like that?
yeah.
And I miss that. I try to make myself like whenever an artist I care about drops an album to listen to it, save it, make sure it's in my library, and not listen to things so like separately because like their body it works for a reason. In reality, I would love to work towards an album. Right now, I feel like it's best to just hit them with the singles. But the
Yeah.
moment the world's like, hey, we need an EP or something, I already we recorded a lot of music. We could definitely throw it out, and that it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of went the route of doing a lot of EPs as well. As far as like my albums as a or my project, should I say, as an artist, I went the route of doing more EPs. And I felt that's kind of worked for me over the past couple of years, anywhere from 5 to 7 tracks. It is not too long to, I guess, because just like you said, a lot of people aren't, and I'm not saying a lot, it's the majority of music fans out there, but there are a good portion of music fans that aren't listening to albums. They might go in, add a couple of songs to a
Mm-hmm.
playlist, and
They make their
that's
own
how they
albums
listen
now.
to music now.
Yeah,
And
people make their own albums.
yeah, it's kind of I mean that is what it is. But at the same time, I think it's kind of going back to what I was saying earlier. I think singles are a lot better because I know a lot of talented artists, but they wait years in between dropping projects, and you just can't wait that kind of time in 2023.
I mean, I think it depends. Like someone like Lil Baby, like watch his run from like 20, like you everyone, you know how I was listening to this other podcast, Rory and Maul podcast, and they were saying that Drake can't retire right now because
Yeah, yeah,
there's no one in that pocket besides like Kendrick and Cole, but they're like even like silver if gold Drake is gold medalist, Like we don't have another person to step into that empty space. So we would have another vacuum. And then because all that shit that happened in Atlanta, there's a vacuum there in hip hop. Like it's kind of like there's a lot of spaces that can be filled right now, but I don't know how it just seems like we need a lot more of these like we need a new person to kind of step up and fill that megastar role almost. But
yeah.
Drake is going because there's not another person on that echelon right now.
And that's tough because it's a like don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great music coming out right now, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a very like different era for music right now.
Yeah,
And you gotta wonder, who's gonna be that next guy to be that megastar. That's a
they
tough one.
thought it was Don Tolliver, then they thought it was Lil Baby. I'm trying to see who they're trying to put it on to now, but
I can't think of that person.
I don't know where they fall short because if I think it's just output. I think just the way that the masses expect music now, or the way that the masses consume music, it's hard for anyone to be that guy right now because you gotta have made so much music and be willing to put out so much music of that level to solidify that. Because Drake now he can disappear,
Yeah.
but and then come back. He could drop an album and then disappear for the next two, and then drop an album. It's gonna do even crazier numbers because he was gone longer. Frank Ocean can come and go, but a lot of the new guys, every year or it's over. Every year or it's over. Sometimes even a couple per year.
You never know with Drake. I mean, he has that tendency of just dropping albums without any announcement or anything.
Yeah, he's been on a weird run the last couple of years too. Like we haven't been away from him since like 2018, I think. He's been pretty consistent since 2018.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
But like what Kendrick is, he's another person that's in that category that I would put Kendrick in the same category as Drake in terms of notoriety. The numbers aren't the same, but the hip hop respect is, I think. Like they're held to that same regard, even though the numbers are higher on Drake's end. But Kendrick will get an album, and he's gone for it was like 5 years since the last one.
Yeah.
It's wow.
And that speaks behind, the star power that they bring to the game because very few people in the music industry can go years in between albums and just drop something like, I heard this years ago, but like you even take somebody like Andre 3000 who don't really come out with music too often, and he could drop a verse on anybody's project, and that verse is fire. That
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10 is gonna be fire.
Mm-hmm.
And he don't, I can't even think off the top of my head what's the last thing that I've heard him on that was recent. But I
Didn't he do something with Kanye a couple years ago?
think maybe so, like on
It
that.
was like a real long. It was a real sad verse, like detailing. He was talking about the passing of his mother, I believe.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
I
Maybe
think I
like
don't know.
3, 4 years ago.
It was that long.
I
I
think
thought it was
something
Dawn
like.
to One or something like that. But I guess that was, or it
Oh yeah,
was,
you're right. It might have been 2 years.
yeah, it was either Donda or that other God album he did right before that. It was maybe it was a leak that was in between, but it was something a couple years ago. Yeah. But every time Andre 3000 pops up, it shakes hip hop. Every time Jay Electronica pops up, it shakes
Yep.
hip hop.
So man, tell us a little bit about, what do you have? I don't want you to go, obvious in detail to spill none of your plans on here, but like what do you envision for the rest of 2023? Like what do you want to do as an artist, as a creator?
Right now, all that I think we need to do is figure out the infrastructure and how we want to deliver the product. And then I think we're good. Cause I have I'm gonna quote Rick Rubin, or at least like something similar to what he said. I have a very strong faith in my taste, and my taste is telling me I've been making very good music. The music, I feel like once it's a large enough group of people see it, it will be received as such. But in my mind, that can't be done without proper infrastructure to promote it, all that. And we're working on the kinks for that until I have that exactly like iron tight. But I'm thinking the next, it's probably gonna be a lot sooner than the way I'm talking make it sound. But once it starts for the year, I'm planning to be hitting them. It's gonna be I'm planning to
Nonstop.
stay consistent. Yeah, maybe not. It's gonna be nonstop, but it won't be like I'm not gonna just be in your face. You're gonna have to. They're gonna want Fathom. They're gonna, you know, can't give them
Yeah.
too much. You know,
So we haven't really talked about your producer side, man. Who are some of your inspirations as far as, making beats?
man, bro. I It's funny you talk about that because the last couple of days I've been exceptionally locked in on beats. I've been like really like just like I don't. Kenny Beats is someone I like. I like anyone that like does those YouTube videos that will just talk about what they're doing because that's just interesting to me. So he's someone I've recently been watching that like show like they've taught me little tricks with drum patterns, but like overall influences, it's hard to say because for like I've always tried to make beats on and off for years, and only in the last maybe 3 4 years has it actually stuck as something I've done. So a lot of my taste has changed over and over, but I guess, man, anyone that really digs in on them drums and likes vocal samples, like maybe like Kanye in some ways. Aries is a producer that I love. He's a younger artist that he does a lot of like almost like hyper pop slash hip hop type stuff. Breakins is someone I like their production a lot, but I don't know. I just make stuff that I like. I don't think the beats I make sound too close to anything really. It just sounds like to me, it's just
Work.
like Fathom type beat. Like I just that's
Yeah.
why I want to start uploading them for to YouTube and try to do that type beat thing and see if people snag them. But then it's like I don't know what to call this.
Yeah.
So I've been just trying to hit like close friends that I know, like yo, you know rappers, you get a beat to them, I'll break you off something for it. Just like because I want to build relationships with people and I want to help people build their sounds because I feel like I once I know an artist, I can curate to them and
Yeah.
I've done that when we had a little group in Pittsburgh a couple years ago that we put together and that was a point where I was trying to dig back into making the beats, and if I was doing what I was doing now, then it would have been a crazy sound.
What you using Logic or
Hmm.
okay?
I
Yeah,
switched over to FL for a few months, but went right back, man.
yeah, man. Like Logic got some pretty dope like factory sounds in it as is. And
Hmm.
then I mean you factor in there like I mean I use a lot of plugins as well, like Equator from Rolly. I also use a couple of like Arturia plugins as well. And that's kind of where I get like most of my sounds from. But like yeah, man, I've been kind of like I mainly am like into machine and MPC, but I guess over the last maybe 2 years or so, I've been forcing myself to use Logic even more.
Hmm.
And I've made like a lot of beats off of my past couple of projects in Logic. So
I love it,
um,
bro.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. I love Logic, especially like you only have a couple of minutes to make a beat. You can get right in and cook something up, man.
Quick, and it almost feels like it's cheating sometimes because, like, once you know your way around the program, you just I add this here, I add this here, and then it's like, okay, I have my basic loop. Now I got to build my melody. But yeah,
And
Logic has a lot of quick little just tricks in it.
that step sequencer.
Uh-huh. I actually don't even use this. Oh, what you talk? Oh, you talking about the yellow one?
The colorful like where you put the patterns in with the steps,
Oh,
kind of like they have in GarageBand. Yeah,
they're trying to get like FL, and that's what made me switch back because I was like, this is close enough. I can because I was using FL because I like the way the drum pattern thing was
yeah.
cool because you could just build a pattern, build another pattern, build like you could build multiple patterns, copy paste where you want them, and I was like into it, and then it almost felt it made my beats look too simple visually to me. It felt like I needed to like I like it when it's all separate because I know I can itch this out here, itch this out here, and just I felt like I had more control in Logic, so I went back. And
Yeah.
Logic has one of the best stock plugins, period, in my opinion. And once you know
Oh,
how to use it, Step Effects, it's under the multi effects
oh yeah.
section. That is a banger plugin once you start messing with it.
And then I mean, you got several ways. You got, of course, Ultra Beat.
Mm-hmm.
You got the step sequencer we were just talking about. And then on top of that, I mean, if you just wanna I like how the these drums are kind of set up in these track stacks to where you can go in and individually add effects to these drums that are in the track stacks, kind of
Oh
like almost
yeah.
like a bus track. And
Mm-hmm.
I think like
Oh, I
for
forgot
me,
you could
it
do that
gives you
Ultra
more
beat.
control over the drums, kind of like you were saying.
Yeah, I forgot you could do it like that too.
And the sampler, let's not forget about the sampler.
Oh man, that's the one. Quick sampler.
Yeah, yeah, the
Quick
quick
sampler is the
sampler.
one. That's what I use for everything.
Man, I gotta get my libraries how I got it on machine and the MPC arranged in Logic, and I'd be ready to go from there, man. But yeah, I just kind of
Once you got, I took it and I put all my sounds in a folder, and I just let's say I need a snare, I just search snare, and then I search to this folder, and I just click through all the ones I want, and then I find it and I throw it in there and just
man,
condense it.
I've used with like FL. I've used FL a little bit on the iPad, but
Mm-hmm.
they updated it and they kind of made everybody buy a new version of FL, but I never made the transition, so I just said the hell with it, and I stopped using it, man.
It's cool, but it's just I rather just Logic is my baby. They have it. You said on the iPad though.
Yeah, yeah, they got a FL Studio on the iPad.
It worked just like the one on the laptop.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
That's something to think about though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean
I didn't know that was a thing.
that one though. I tend to like Beat Maker on the iPad. That's kind of my favorite. Though it actually remind me of a little bit of Logic and then a little bit of the MPC as far as like the sampler and how you sample in Beatmaker 3. I don't know, man. That one and there's probably three I bounce between. Sometimes I'm in GarageBand And then there's Korg Gadget, which I like that one a lot as well. Um, so I'll probably say those three I keep on rotation when it comes to the iPad music production. But yeah,
I
man,
never tried to
definitely.
do it on an iPad really.
Huh?
Never seriously used an iPad.
Yeah, man. I would say iPad got some pretty good music production apps. And the cool part I like about it is it's not expensive to make beats. I mean, you get there's another one, Koala Sampler, just $5. Well, I mean, you could
Oh
put that one
wow.
on your phone as well. If you got like some loops or some one shots, you just load it up into Koala Sampler and you good to go from there. And that one definitely worth checking out as well,
I've never even heard that one. That's tight.
man. There's a dude, uh, well, I know Beatmaker is the squad, and there's a couple of other people on IG that use Koala sampling. But yeah, they got a pretty big movement of producers that use that app for production, man. But yeah, it's starting to get. I kind of wonder if the gap's gonna close even further, which I think, you could do. Um, Madlib, for example, made a couple of albums inside a Beatmaker on the iPad. So I mean, it's really becoming important tool when it comes to music production, man. Especially like I don't want to sound like the old head, but I always wish that when I started making beats around like '06, '07, that we had options like they have now currently on the iPad. Because I remember still like at that time trying to get enough money saved to buy my first Mac. And that was like over $1,000. I mean, you get an iPad now for like 349 or something,
Mm-hmm.
and you're in the game right there. So
That immediately, bro. I almost like I was talking to someone earlier, and hip hop suffers from a very unique issue where there's a lot of oversaturation in hip hop because the whole point of hip hop is to make it look effortless. Like Drake is someone that does extremely high level things, for an example, and I know it's probably difficult because he's doing excellent work at a high level, but he makes it look effortless, and that influences a whole generation of kids to start getting into rap and making music. And then you look at how easy it is to get into the production game with an iPad like that. And it's a good and a bad thing because it causes a lot of oversaturation. But then those people that are really going to shine when they can get their hands on it so easily, it's a beautiful thing.
yeah,
Because even when I was younger, it wasn't that easy. And I'm only 25. Like it's shifted a lot in the last decade, even.
yeah, yeah, man. It'll be interesting, like 'cause when I was 25, that was kind of when I was first starting. That was
Mm-hmm.
kind of when I first started. And like all the kids that you talked about that's coming up now, it's gonna be interesting to see like how, music creation as a whole, the sound that, how hip hop's gonna evolve probably over the next 5, 10, 15 years. Um,
Yeah.
because man, just being like I remember when trap beats were first a thing, and just how that subgenre of hip hop has evolved since it started, like around the time Ross was putting out BMF and working with Lex Luger around that era,
Mm-hmm.
to how trap beats are now and what they became. And that's what we're talking about, what, 13 years later? So, moving forward, it's gonna be interesting to see. Even like, you got some of these artists, they're rapping now over those 90s style hip hop beats.
I
Like
love it, bro.
Griselda, that's their
Their whole
signature right
thing.
there.
Yeah.
So you gotta wonder where music is heading in probably the next 5, 10, 15 years with the way people are creating.
You know what I think? I think it's just gonna further and further splinter into more little subgenres
Yeah.
because now it's just in here. I mean, I could go in here and find exactly what I want right now, And then when I get to that artist's page, I'm gonna scroll down and say more like them.
Yeah,
Oh, bet. Like it's just gonna create more like because it's gonna give people the ability to make more music that they just want to make,
yeah.
which is gonna be kind of great, but it's gonna cause more splintering, which I don't think is a bad thing. It's just gonna be interesting.
And I mean, you talk about, I mean, that in itself, and on top of that, I mean, some guys they're going on these sites like I might be jumping down a rabbit hole here, but like Splice, like sounds.com, they're getting all these samples off of these websites, and there's nothing wrong with it, but they're crafting their sound that way. They're
Oh, I
they're
love Splice.
Yeah, they're taking the loops because I've made beats off of Splice too, but like sometimes so sometimes there've been times where I've taken loops. I might not do much to it and just build my drums around it. But then other
Mm-hmm.
times I take loops, I chop it up, I might pitch it up or pitch it down and go from there as far as how I flip the samples. So I only say that to say people might or music creators might hear a beat kind of like you were saying, they might hear a song from their favorite artist. And we're all influenced by what we listen to. So, if I want to beat like this producer, I want to beat like that producer, I'm gonna find some drums like that. I'm gonna find a melody like that. Boom,
And
we
we'll
in the
just
game right there. So
immediately.
it's just it's just it's gotten easier to create based off of that, man.
Man, the way I approach it, like I look at it like this: Kanye has made some of the biggest hits, and a lot of them are from samples. So I look at Splice like this: I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna take something, and you're not gonna know it came from Splice when I'm done with it. I
Yeah.
like that's the goal because I think people, I almost feel guilty when I sample in a way. And I feel like okay, because I'm not playing this, I gotta make it sound really like different. I really put my own spin to it, make it unique and special, so I'm not just cheating.
Yeah.
Like
You ain't never lying.
you
'Cause
gotta do it.
I've heard, yes, I'm not gonna say the artist names on here, but and it's again nothing wrong with it, but I've heard a lot of major releases where I'm like, oh, that sample was on Splice. In fact, there
Straight
was
up.
I'm watching basketball one night and somebody took a loop off a splice and I heard it on, I guess they got it involved in some type of like music publishing with TV
Mm-hmm.
and film because I heard it on a commercial. And I'm like, damn, all he did was put some drums behind this. And they got they collecting royalties off of that. And it's just
Yes,
kind
sir.
of like it's almost kind of like you that guy that wish you'd have came out with that experiment first. Somebody else beat you to that invention or that experiment.
And I feel like it's almost a lot of time it's just that person was already just in a position because that's such a low effort thing. They were just already in a position to alley oop it. But that sync, that's almost like, I think that's pretty close to like the world of sync, and that's something that I've looked at, and it's dense. It's a lot of stuff over there, bro. I've thought about it, getting into that, but like I feel like you almost got to create music solely for that. That's almost feels like until my personal career is where I want it to be. I'm not gonna super dive too deep into that unless they hear a song that I have and they want to get into it. But
I've been involved in like I got one game in placement for a game that came out years ago called Hustle King. It's like a pool game. And
that's
then
hard as hell.
man, that thank you, man. That I think I got that one in like 18 or it might have been 2017.
That's
Um
hard.
Man, that was my first one, man. And I did another one for a music festival and I collected royalties off of those two. But it is, you're right, man. It it's hard to kind of get in and get that first placement. And I feel like it's even harder like to get that second one and then so on and so forth. And I feel like getting more of those. that's the long play. Eventually, I'd like to just get a couple of more or as many placements as I can. Like I know a lot of guys that they've never had placements with major artists, and they just got like doing jingles for TV shows and collecting royalties off of that. And hey, I'd be fine with that as long,
That's fire.
I may not have gotten to produce for Jay-Z or some of my favorite artists, but if I can get a couple of tracks published, that's all good with me.
Hmm. I can't wait till I get an artist on one of my beats that's like I can kind of curate for. That's one of my goals for this year is to do like an EP or something with a homeboy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, man.
here's these 5 beats. They're for your sound. Dive in.
Man, I'll definitely like to check that out, man. And we gotta link up and get some work in at some point, man, because I always
Absolutely.
like what you're doing, man.
I appreciate it, my boy. Thank you.
Oh, no problem, man. Kind of winding down, man. What kind of shout outs do you have?
Man, shout out to Robin Pip of Healthy Habits. Shout out to Richard Crawl. We just did a video that is going to be, I think, phenomenal. Shout out Athena. Shout out Angela. Shout out Beatrix, Devon. These are all people that were just on set. I'm messing up names right now because I'm just thinking about something, but they'll be on Instagram. They'll see. I'll tag them in this if this clip goes up in particular. But man, shout out to Pops. Shout out to Notorious Music. Yeah, we got a lot of things coming. The team has been working hard. I'm really excited, and it's gonna be. The goal is to bring you a filet mignon every week. We'll see. Not microwave, but it's gonna be something special. But it's gonna be freaking.
Man, gonna definitely be looking out for that, man. You know, uh, and where can our viewers and listeners find you at online and some of your work as well?
Everything can be found no matter where you type it. Faaathom. Faaathom. You'll find me everywhere. Fathom with 3 A's, baby.
Fathom with 3 A's,
Yes,
TikTok,
sir.
Instagram,
Apple Music,
YouTube, Apple
Spotify,
Music,
all that.
Spotify, everywhere. Go out, support Fathom, and wish you the best in
Thank you, sir.
your videos. No problem, brother. And anything you come out with this year, man. And if you ever want to get back on to talk about something new, man, definitely feel free to reach out. It was a pleasure to have
Absolutely.
you on.
And I want to say thank you for being so flexible. It's been a hectic week, and Dee Dot's the man. Yeah, like it was a lot of dicey, like quick changes to the schedule to get me on here, but he's been really, really great to work with. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Oh man, not a problem at all, man. For all our listeners and viewers, you could actually follow me on Instagram at D._major music. Same thing on TikTok or Twitter will be different, D.mme. But hit me up with a follow on there. You can catch new episodes of the Major Music Lounge here on my YouTube channels. They go up on Fridays, so stay tuned for more. I have some great interviews on deck. I know I've been away recently, taking care of some other things, but I'm kind of getting the podcast and other music related projects backed up and running. Thank y'all for tuning in, and next time we'll be back with a new episode of the Major Music Lounge. We are out. You can tell by my demeanor, smooth, calm, and collect. You don't see nobody cleaner, paper, power, and respect. Seen, read, and heard, sit back and peep the scene. And my hustle of the chart, moving at a different speed.